Hey everybody, welcome back to Why Not RV. It's Chris. This week we're going to talk about breaking down your campsite and getting ready to get on the road. So when you're talking about breaking down your campsite and getting ready to get on the road, everyone has their own method of doing it, and some people like to start with their electrical, other people like to start with the sewer and water. It just depends on what you want to do for you and your trailer and how you like to get on the road and get going. Some people do checklists so that you make sure you aren't forgetting anything. Other people just do the same routine every single time and they know that routine, and that way they don't forget anything. And that's what I like to do. So let's go over that. The very first thing I like to do when I'm getting ready to break down is go ahead and flush all my tanks and empty them out, as well as fill my freshwater tank, just because you don't know the next time you're going to stop that's going to have fresh water or you're going to have a space to dump. Now, if you know that you're going from campsite to campsite, feel free to only dump part of it, but I like to dump them every single time before we go, just because I never know the next place that we're going to be. There could be issues with the plumbing there, and you're not allowed to dump. You have to go to a dump station. There's just too many variables, so I just like to start with that. First, I'm going to go ahead and start by emptying out my black tank. We're going to pull down that valve. And then I'm also going to go ahead and switch this over to tank, which is to fill the fresh water tank. Now I come over to my valve here and get it going. And that's going to go ahead and dump the black tank. While my fresh water tank is filling up, my black tank is empty, I can go ahead and close that valve and I can go ahead and empty out my gray tanks. I like to just open up both of them at the same time. One's for the shower, one's for the kitchen, or I should say shower and sink and the kitchen sink. So now those are dumping out. Now that my gray tanks are empty, I'm going to go ahead and close these valves. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to close this valve. That way, any residual water that's in that pipe or anything that might leak past those other valves is going to stop right there and not be able to trickle out next time I open up that cap. Now that all my tanks are empty, I'm going to go ahead and continue to let the fresh water fill up, and while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect all my sewer lines. First things first, gloves. Now that I've got my gloves on, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my pipe from here, and I'm going to go ahead and clear out the line by holding it up for some gravity. Now that my pipe's empty from the RV, I can go ahead and disconnect it right here and take this piece out. Now that the tanks are empty, we're going to go ahead and treat it. I like to use this Happy Camper. It's just a product that I'm really comfortable using. There's plenty of products out there for treating your tanks. This works both for gray and black. So right now we're going to go ahead and treat the kitchen sink, which is gray tank number 2. And it's just filling up the sink with a gallon of water and then a scoop of that and mixing it in before letting it go down. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, it's all mixed in there really good, so now we can go ahead and dump it down. We do the same thing in the bathroom for number 1 gray tank, which is both the bathroom sink and the shower, which Jasper is enjoying. I like to really make sure it's nice and mixed in there, so you're not sending any clumps down the drain. Now for the black tank. First thing I like to do is fill up the black tank with about a gallon or 2 gallons of water before I treat it, just because I like to keep 2 or 3 gallons in there while we're moving to let it slosh around in there and help clean everything out. Now we gotta go ahead and treat the black tank with the Happy Camper stuff. I just like to tap this one in there real nice and slow. Let the water pressure kind of circulate it. And that's that. Now my tanks are all treated. Now that the tanks are emptied and treated, we need to go ahead and prep the inside to bring the slides in. So I need to make sure that nothing's in the way of where the slides are going to be coming in at, and everything's secured and stowed. Bedroom slide should be good. It just comes right up to the drawers there. There's nothing on the floor for it to get in the way, and nothing on the walls for it to hit against. Out in the living room, I think we're all good. Got nothing blocking here. And nothing blocking down here at all. So now from inside, I'm gonna go ahead and start to bring the slide in the bedroom because I can watch it. Now the living room. That's it on the slides. Now I'm gonna go ahead and come back outside and check on my freshwater fill up. While my water is still filling up, it's just taking a while because it was completely empty. I'm gonna go ahead and retract all of the stabilizers, leaving just the front landing gear down. Now on mine, I have the Lippert auto level system. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. We're gonna go into manual mode and retract the rear. And now we wait. While I was retracting the rear landing gears, the water went ahead and finished. And that way I can tell is it is overflowing out of the overflows. Let's see if we can get a shot of that. You see how it's coming out up there? That's the overflow of the freshwater tank. So now I can come back over here and put this back. I'm done with my water, so we're gonna go ahead and disconnect it. First, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off at the valve. And I'm gonna let the pressure out. Now I can come back over to the RV. I have a quick connect fitting. So I just pull down on that, it comes right off. Has my pressure regulator, my filter all on. Now that we've got our water disconnected, our sewer disconnected, the slides are in, the last thing for me to do is disconnect electrical and then hitch up. And come to the electric panel, we're gonna go ahead and turn off our main breaker. Now I'm gonna come over to my electric panel for the house that powers my RV and go ahead and disconnect that breaker. Now it's safe to unplug my 50 amp from there and from the RV. That's pretty much everything for getting the trailer ready to get on the road. Now obviously we still have to hitch up, but I'm going to do a whole separate video on that because it's its own special process. Last thing I like to do before we get hitched up is make sure that all the doors are secured and latched, and just do a final walk around and get up on the roof and make sure there's nothing up there, the antenna's down, all that kind of fun stuff. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week when we're going to talk about setting camp back up.